The Christ Letters, with enhanced narration and text. Letter 3.6. The transcendent state of consciousness. How often throughout the world people gladly embrace my teachings as being highly moralistic and the most perfectly formulated guidelines to good behavior and daily living. However, they add quickly that the stories of miracles should be discounted, since such aberrations of natural laws of the universe are not possible. This type of thought is building barriers to the future progress in spiritual scientific development of which the human mind is capable. In fact, I did not come to earth to introduce a new religion or higher moral code than that given by Moses in the Ten Commandments. My purpose was to bring a new perception of God as Creator and understanding of existence itself. Out of that knowledge would come a new way of life. The correct attitude towards my mission on earth in this third millennium is to acknowledge that the miracles I performed are beyond the capabilities of the average human being at this time. However, such miracles were examples of what can be achieved in the future when people's minds are fully imbued with the true knowledge of existence, and are also, through faith, meditation, and prayer, fully attuned to and imbued with universal life, love, consciousness. Was it really true I walked on water when my disciples boarded a boat to cross the lake? If you have read the biblical account of this incident, you will realize that the disciples had left me behind. I yearned for an opportunity to withdraw from all human contact, retire to the hills, and once more enter into a profound meditation to allow my consciousness to merge into the universal dimension of God consciousness. Footnote: in the light of Christ's spiritual truth, doctrines become meaningless and are swiftly jettisoned from the illuminated mind. End of footnote. Whilst in this spiritual state transcending human consciousness, all awareness of physicality disappeared, and ecstatically I was lifted into the universal stream of life, and knew that the universal life was all. Life was the reality of my beingness, and all else were but temporary changing appearances of universal life made visible. I knew, I felt, I was life itself, and as I slipped beyond earthly consciousness into the universal life consciousness, the laws governing my physical being were transcended and no longer applied to the flesh and blood of my human body. I longed to move about in this new transcendent state, and found myself floating out of my cave. I could see my disciples on the lake and knew they were in distress. Effortlessly, I floated down over the hill towards the shore, and as I began to regain contact with my normal human concerns, in this case my disciples, I found myself coming to rest on the waters. However, I was still in that condition where I realized fully that I, myself, was life individualized, and therefore my body was suffused with life power, which continued to lighten and transform the atomic structure of my physical state. You must understand that hearing and thinking in the human consciousness state and the ascension into the transcendent realization of universal life, when the personal consciousness is now withdrawn from the bodily condition and wholly merged in universal Father consciousness, belong to two entirely different dimensions of being. The human consciousness can receive inspiration from the universal Father consciousness, but the inspiration received mingles with the human condition and is frequently misinterpreted according to the store of knowledge already controlling the brain, and therefore the mental processes themselves. Unfortunately, the inspiration you receive is contaminated and distorted by your present strongly maintained beliefs. Whereas the transcendent perceptual and realization state rises out of, emerges from, the physical condition. The brain is no longer in control. It no longer has any influence on the transcendent perceptual state, which is truth itself. It is no longer controlled or affected by human belief. It is in a state of what really is, back of visible manifestation and existence, instead of in the human dimension of what it believes existence to be. It is in the transcendent state of consciousness that miracles are but normal working of universal law.